Dean Legge and Parker Morgan here from Rosenblatt Stadium, wrapping up Georgia's defeat in the national championship game. Parker, what'd you see from your perspective?
It was just a rough day all around for Georgia.
Yeah.
They never could get much going. A big thing early, Miles Starr almost hit a 3-run home run out of there early on that would have put them up 3-2 early on. Goes foul by a little bit, and on the same token, Detweiler, who was just unbelievable today, driving in all 6 runs, his first home run, barely gets over the wall. So that's a big shift right there with that kind of stuff. And they just never could get any big hits. I remember I talked about during the regionals and super regionals, Georgia seemed to get by putting together big innings with a lot of big hits, and they just couldn't get them today and killed them. I mean, Beckham hits that home run way too late. Nobody's on. For somehow Fresno was always able to get Beckham up either with 2 outs or leading off, and he never could do anything. He had 2 out of Georgia's 6 hits tonight and 2 out of the 5 against Wilson, the starter for Fresno State. He was just lights out. He threw 129 pitches.
He sure was lights out.
And the coach yesterday had said he hoped to only get like 4 innings out of it because he was on 3 days rest instead of 6. And Wilson just was incredible. Went going 8 strong innings, and he just was unhittable for most of Georgia's hitters, who really kind of seemed apprehensive. Perna said that Dean Weaver was too pumped, a little too anxious to get out there pitching. And I think that might have been what was going on with some of the batters, because they just could not get it together. And Fresno wins big.
They do. They wrap up an improbable national championship run. We're not going to get into that because I think everybody in the country is well aware that they were a 4 seed, and just it was just a heck of a run for Fresno. Perno said during the press conference that this team is still behind the 1990 team, but this, just to shift the focus from the negative to the positive, this was one heck of a run. These guys went past Miami, Stanford. They didn't play Florida State, but they got past that grouping. I mean, it's not like this is just a bad season.
I mean, it's a shame that what Georgia accomplished this year might get overshadowed a little bit.
No, it will. It will get overshadowed, and that's a shame. The fact of the matter is that this is a talented group of guys, and you hope next year that they're not going to get into one of these things where they're up and then they're down. Maybe there's more consistency next year.
Coming off a losing season, doing what they did this year is pretty incredible. I know Georgia fans on the message boards were loving to point out that Georgia started the season unranked while Fresno was ranked. Who's the real underdog there? But Fresno had a great run. You don't want to take anything away from them, and you don't want to take anything away from Georgia. They just had a tremendous season. And next year, unfortunately, it might be a little rough because they lose a lot of talent off this team. So this was really their shot to get it. They didn't, but North Carolina came 2 years in a row and is the runner-up. So now they know what it's like, and hopefully for Georgia they'll be able to learn from this, and some of these younger guys that will be able to. Gordon Beckham didn't have the best year as a freshman. He was all right, but they made that story about him making the last out a million times. And there might be some guys from Georgia that are here in a couple of years that learn from this experience and are able to take Georgia to that next step.
Final thoughts from Omaha. We've been here for some time. We've not been here as long as some of our buddies from other outlets. Thing that you'll remember most about Omaha?
There's a lot of corn, lots of farmers, things like railroads that I, growing up,
a coastal Georgia
small
guy.
South Georgia boy, I forgot things like railroads really mattered. But the Midwest is a really different part of the place. I highly recommend that people, if they've never been to this event, it's a fantastic event. The city does a great job. The NCAA does a great job putting this on, and it's definitely worth the trip to make it out here. I hope a lot of Georgia fans were able to at least make it for the weekend if they had to work during the week. But it's definitely something you want to see in your life. But then again, I've been in Nebraska more days than I ever thought I would my entire life. So getting back to Athens will not be a bad transition for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm ready to get back home too. We'll wrap it up from Rosenblatt Stadium. They've actually already taken down all the College World Series stuff, and all the Omaha Royals things are back up, Parker. So there you go, some little minor league baseball for you. Well, with that, we're signing off from Omaha. This has been Parker Morgan and Dean Legge for Dawg.